Rewilding is a concept aiming to restore ecosystems and counteract biodiversity declines by giving back large land areas to wildlife and nature. Key in this approach is to kickstart natural processes with minimal interventions, as well as taking humans into the center of the action. Rewilding was first implemented in the US on large open landscapes with little human activity. From the first trials of rewilding, a definition developed that holds three concepts at its center: core areas, corridors and carnivores. Cores are large land areas with wild habitats under protection. The main rewilding activities take place there, and human activity is very limited. Wildlife corridors are stretches with special restrictions and nature protection measures that connect to the cores. Their main goal is to allow animals and plants to move between two or more core areas. These corridors create bridges through stretches of nature where humans are more active or the vegetation is not native, both factors that can hinder animals from moving between habitats. Carnivores play a crucial role in a healthy ecosystem as they regulate the activity of grazers. This way they contribute to the shaping of the landscape and habitat creation. Introducing carnivores is a kickstarting tool for the rewilding processes to bring the ecosystem into a natural balance again. While these three principles worked well in the US, implementing the 3 Cs in Europe came with some challenges. Europe is densely populated and finding large untouched areas extremely difficult. If you want to connect two cores, for example, you almost always have to work around urban areas or agricultural spaces. Also, introducing large predators like wolves, for example, is very challenging, as humans are not used to coexist with them anymore, and this naturally causes conflict. The rewilding principles therefore needed to be adjusted to Europe. Rewilding in Europe today focuses on 3 main concepts: diversity, dispersal and disturbance. Ecosystems are tightly interwoven, large and complex systems. Their functionality and resilience is built on many different species and components that interact with each other. If one of the parts gets lost, others can usually form new connection to compensate for it. If, however, too many components are lost in the ecosystem loses its resilience and can even collapse. Some species losses can be more drastic than others, and its loss can have a dramatic ripple-down effect affecting all species in the ecosystem. For example, the disappearance of the wolf from the European landscape due to extensive hunting through humans caused the deer population to grow. The increased population of deer led to overextensive grazing, reducing the vegetation that was crucial to other species, and in turn leading to the loss of many other species. Increasing biodiversity within a landscape is therefore one of the main goals of rewilding. Dispersal is the European equivalent to corridors. It means to connect different landscapes and habitats with each other. Dispersal can improve the resilience of an ecosystem in many ways. When the animals move, they carry seeds of plants with them in their fur or coat, which is then randomly spread over the new habitat. Movement between habitats can also improve genetic diversity in a habitat and facilitate genetic mutations, which can help species to adapt to their fast-changing environment. Various things can stop animals from moving between habitats. Some of the more obvious are fences, roads, or human infrastructures. But also large patches of non-native vegetation can hinder animals from crossing over to another habitat. Rewilders can improve the condition for moving by removing fences where possible, creating overpasses on roads, or by removing non-native vegetation. Disturbance is exactly what it sounds like it is. It refers to naturally occurring events in an ecosystem that drastically change the living condition for animals and vegetation. Traditional nature conservation tries to avoid these events, as they can change the composition of an ecosystem dramatically and destroy the ecosystem that the conservationists try to preserve. These extreme events, however, are often normal in an ecosystem and can help the ecosystem to grow and adapt to changing conditions. Rewilders therefore try to accept and support these drastic changes in rewilding ecosystems. One very recent example of how disturbance can help rewilding is the flooding of a forest by the organization Mossy. In their approach to rewild the area of the Danub river, they flooded a large area around it and created lots of different water areas that are used by species as nursing and feeding grounds. You can find the link to the whole project in the description below. One of the biggest differences to the initial American rewilding approach is that European rewilding has put people at the center of the approach. a rewilded land should serve both people and nature. In the end, to be protected over time, local communities have to profit from the land as well, and not have the feeling of losing land or economic opportunities due to the protection of nature. Of course, rewilded land has huge environmental profits that also protect humans from environmental events due to climate change. But rewilded land can offer much more to humans and make rewilding even more attractive. It can, for example, offer economic, spiritual, cultural, aesthetic, or even recreational value. The options on how to harness these values of a land are endless, and best decided specifically for the rewilded land and the community around. In summary, rewilding is a concept aiming to restore ecosystems and counteract biodiversity declines by giving large land areas back to nature and wildlife. In Europe, rewilding has 3 core aspects: creating diversity, dispersal, and disturbance, as well as taking humans into the center of the action.